Hi, folks. Welcome to another talk on creative confidence, which I'm doing in collaboration with Right Aligned. I'm Teresa, and some of you might know me already. I'm a brand consultant and designer at my own studio and also full-time head of design at the Financial Times. I want to mention why I'm doing this. Creativity is a human trait, and as such, we all have it. But what we lack sometimes is the confidence to name it, use it, and play with it. Whether it's because of imposter syndrome, being an introvert, or simply doing a non creative job, I want to help others come to terms with their own creative power. So I've connected with people I know in the industry who can share experiences and let us into their creative world. My guest today is Sara Pintado, Senior Program Manager of Learning and Events at the NAD and fellow mentor at I Like Networking. Sara was also previously at Domestika and is an expert in curating content that helps creatives further their careers. Welcome, Sara. Thank you so much for doing this. Can you tell us a bit about your career?
Yes, for sure. Hi, Teresa. Thank you so much, first of all, to invite me to be part of the podcast. This is my first podcast, so I'm like, ooh. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here. And yeah. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about myself?
Yeah, so if you could tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got where you are. Yeah, just let's ease ourselves in that way.
Perfect. So I am originally from Spain, but I moved to London when I was about 18 years old. I initially wanted to be a photographer, so I thought that London was the place to be for a creative career. So I got encouraged. My parents supported me to move into London. And yeah, I studied a BA in photography during 3 years. It was a great experience. I think I really wanted to be a fashion photographer, but then I discovered that the fashion industry wasn't the right place for me. So I started doing a lot of portraiture photography, and just exploring different sides to photography. But at some point, I felt like I wanted to explore a bit more the creative industries and like the arts. So I decided to go into doing a course in arts and learning, which was something a bit new for me because I've never thought about art like teaching through art in a way. So that was a great chance to explore different mediums. So I did a lot of installation work, and I played with video photography as well, and did a lot of participatory art projects. And that's kind of when I felt like the piece started, like fitting together.
Yeah.
Because art, I was very passionate about the arts and creativity, but I was also passionate about education and supporting others. So yeah, that's kind of like my background in terms of studies. And then I've done many jobs. So I have a very like diverse background. I've been an art teacher for kids. I've been an art curator, so I used to curate exhibitions and artwork for a company called Creative Debuts, which supported emerging artists from underrepresented backgrounds. And we did a lot of collaborations with big brands like Adidas, Spotify, and many more. And that was great because I got to meet a lot of talent and work with them and kind of curate and make things happen. I did a lot of I also did a program, like an education program for an art fair, also with the same company. And that was fantastic because it also mixed the education side of things with the arts. And yeah, that was great. Then what else did I do? So after that, I decided to kind of make a change, and I moved into the corporate world. and I moved to an innovation company. So it was very different to what I've done previously. And it really pushed me out of my comfort zone.
Was it tech?
Yes, it was like a company that provided innovation workshops to other companies. So in that way, I learned a lot about, different methods and canvases and the lean startup, design thinking, and all of these things. So that was really good, like a really good skill to add to my career. But at some point I was like missing the creative side of things. Although innovation is creativity itself, I was kind of craving a different creativity. And I saw a job at Domestika advertised, and when I saw it, I was like, I'm not gonna get it. You know, when you get imposter syndrome, and you're like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
That probably happens to everyone. But I said, you know what, I'm gonna apply and just give it a go. And after, I think it was 5 interviews, I got it, which was a really long process. Yeah, it was a really long process. But it was great. I spent 2 years at Domestika. I think the most fascinating part of that role was that I got to work very closely with different creatives from different backgrounds. So I got to, develop content for courses with like the most talented photographers, animators, did you say? Designers, illustrators, and I got like a first view on different creative processes and how people work and how their minds work. And there was a lot of, I would say, like patterns that you could see, even if you were working in architecture and then a photographer, you could see like, things like inspiration or ideation and like different things that were really connected. So yeah, that was fascinating. And then so in November, I got made redundant at Domestika, but I happened to jump into a role at the NAD, which was basically, I always say the stars align, but people tell me, don't say the stars align, you work hard, you got it because of you. I basically applied for it. I created a really nice portfolio with all of my projects. Until now.
Here you are.
Here I am.
I was gonna say, I do believe that the stars align. I'm a little bit woo like that, but yeah, it's I don't know. I think I like giving meaning to things as well, so that really helps me. But it's such like a rich, when you say like, oh, I've done everything and I've had a lot of jobs and stuff. It's really interesting how like we always underplay, especially if we've got like if we have a squiggly career where you've been, going from here, or like, I didn't study design at uni, I studied archaeology. It's like, what the hell? How did I get here? And we always downplay it, but actually what this is about is sort of, showcasing that people who are, working with amazing clients, working for amazing companies, doing amazing things themselves, that it does take that richness of experience, that grit, the stars aligning sometimes. And so it's really amazing career path. And I'm really interested as well in terms of like how, because you mentioned that coming from a photography background, you started then doing curation. What took you over to the learning side of things? Because like it's just such an interesting area in itself, where you're basically curating content to feed creativity and to stimulate it and, you know, help other creatives? Like, how does that relate to, you know, building your career, your creative confidence? Tell me more about it.
I think that kind of sends me to my school days, because I wasn't a good student. I think the education system is not great, and they teach us to, you know, be set within a box and be in a certain way. So when I moved to London and I saw how many possibilities there was out there to learn by yourself and to choose your path, you didn't have to fit in a box. You can do many things, and it's okay. You don't have to climb the ladder, you know. That's kind of what, when I think back, I'm like, I think that's why I would love to go back to my young self and be like, it's gonna be okay. You will find a way around it. But yeah, I really want to change the way things are done in education. Even if I don't work, you know, for a small, like how do you say, primary school or anything like that. It's more like higher education.
Yeah.
Even just like putting a little grain into, you know, improving someone else's future. I think that's so gratifying.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, what would I would have loved that someone did that for me. And I even, when I was a kid, I went to a pedagogue because they thought that I didn't know like how to learn. I didn't know, you know, there was something wrong. And with her, she taught me, you know, about doing key points and mind maps and you know, be more creative with the way that we learn. That kind of, you know, it's in the back of my head somewhere. And I just think that creativity is the future in a way. I mean, now with all of the technology advancements and like AI and all of these things, is crucial that we are creative and we know. Yes.
100%. I was going to say, it's quite scary with DALL-E and stuff, you know, how things just get, oh my God, they just generate this image that, you know, it takes us, you know, hours and hours of work. But there are the copyright issues, and still, you know, it's limitless, isn't it? Human creativity. And it does come in so many forms. It doesn't have to, you know, so many expressions, so many instances. I was going to ask, do you still practice photography? Do you still nourish it? And
that's a good question. Not as much, to be honest. I kind of I do take pictures sometimes, like for Instagram and all of these things, but you know, like as a diary, in a diary format, but not professionally. If I have any friends that are like, hey, can you take some headshots? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But I kind of left it on the side. I think I do enjoy it. I like the creativity of building, you know, a scene. So if you have you're taking a portrait, like what is the background gonna be like, and like the set design, and I really like putting a bit of like a styling into it. But yeah, I'm not at the moment doing any photography.
Yeah, but I was going to say it's always there for you, and you know, as you said, you know, you do it as in the form of diaries. For instance, it doesn't matter how it happens, isn't it? It's just like, as long as it's, you know, being fed. Is there anything else that you do, like on a day-to-day basis, to kind of pump up your creative flow and, you know, to get you to that state? I don't know, any tools that you use?
Yeah, so I think I go in do you know when you fall in love with a craft and then you kind of leave it and then a new one? I tend to change a lot. But for example, during lockdown, I was making earrings with polymer clay, and it was like the most relaxing thing. And then you could wear it, so it was like perfect.
Yeah.
And then I've done like punch needle. I tend to kind of get to keep me inspired. I read and I go to like different exhibitions. I try to go to like one exhibition a weekend, something like that.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
really
really,
good. That
yeah. What about you?
same, I guess. Yeah, reading. I really like music documentaries. I don't know, but somehow they relax me. Music and sports documentary really
Okay.
relax me because it's I'm really always curious about how the mind works, and you know, so I don't know, it's just like a nice insight on seeing how creative people you know, how their creative process is. um Also, like on the sports personality, I'm really intrigued about, you know, mental health and how that relates with everything, and you know, what makes you a high performer, and I don't know, it's just fascinating. I don't know, those things kind of, I'm always changing what what I'm into, but yeah. Yes, the same. Reading, I mean, living where we live in it's a bit London centric, but yeah, I mean, it is London, you know, being here, we both moved from, you know, hotter, nicer, more places to, you know, the UK and specifically to London. So yeah, there's so many things that you know, exhibitions, gigs, theatre, cinema. It's just like everywhere at your doorstep. Sometimes you even get like the pressure of you should be doing some more on the weekends because it's just like
Yes. Yeah,
I'm here and then
I get that all the time. It's like so present. Yeah, like I need to be doing things because I'm in London. I'm so lucky. Um, but I think it's good
yeah,
also to be creative. You need to take breaks and you need to do nothing.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
literally sit down and just walk, look at the wall.
I was gonna say my main goal this year is to rest. So I don't know.
That's good.
That's like
Very good. Yeah.
it was fine during Christmas, but now it's like gone a bit out of the window with everything I've got going on.
Mm.
Yeah, but I'm keen to, like, you know, kind of cultivate that in the day to day because yeah, as you said, you've nailed it. You need to rest to be creative.
Mm.
I was going to ask if you've got like any kind of tips or advice with for people who might be struggling, they want to change their career, that or they're, you know, they're not where they want to be, um, you know, they're doubting themselves.
Yeah, I mean that's always gonna be there. It's there for me, probably for you as well.
Mm,
Still,
you know
uh,
it, you know there it is.
yeah. I mean, I don't even know if it's ever. My mom says that it's at some point it's gonna go away, but I don't know. Um, but
We trust our moms.
yes. But I think the you mentioned squiggly careers
Yeah.
before, and I really like that. So there is a book called Squiggly
Mm,
Careers, which I totally recommend. I bought it like, yeah, when I got made redundant in November, because I was like, okay, what shall I do next? Like, you know, and sometimes we forget who we are in the process
mm,
when we have a job. You know, you kind of you might
yeah.
lose yourself a bit. So it's nice to maybe do some exercises, read a little bit, and this book is great because it's very practical, and you know,
Mm,
I discover what my values are again, and what kind of where do I want to work, what kind of place do I want, and what are my strengths as well. So I think that book is a really good start.
mm,
um I would say also to don't be afraid. I mean, yeah, just I think we overthink things when we see a job advertised, which sounds amazing, but then we might think that is too senior or is too, I don't know, we don't have enough experience. Apply for it. If you're passionate.
I was going to say, if we were a man, we wouldn't have that. I mean, the majority of, if we were a boomer, we wouldn't have that problem, would we?
Yes, exactly.
Very typical woman, non-binary people thing of, looking at something and going, I'm underqualified, when you're actually like completely overqualified in the majority of time.
and you're never, I think you're never gonna fit every single thing they ask for. Like it's like almost impossible. So you can always learn in the job or beforehand. There is so much information out there. You can do courses. You have great platforms for courses. You have YouTube as well. So if you don't know how to use this project management tool, don't worry, you can learn about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, just go for it. And I think it's also good to discover who you are and somehow your branding a little bit. Like, I think once you understand what are your values, your strengths, and what are your passions in life, is much better. You will be able to communicate better what you want and who you are and what you're looking for. So it's a process of discovery and learning, continuous learning. So
I love that.
Yeah, something like that.
Amazing. Have you got any tips or advice for anyone who's starting their career in the creative industry, or they might be, struggling to change career, or they're not where they want to be? Any kind of tips or advice?
Yeah, so actually, the program that I'm managing at the moment at DNAD is called the Shift program. And it's a night school for creative talent who don't have a university degree. So it's plus 18, which is great. And we are running it in different countries at the moment. So we are soon going to open the applications for the London Shift program. But we have it running in New York, Sydney, Germany, and soon to be hopefully Sao Paulo. And basically the program is industry led, so all of the facilitators and teachers are experts from the industry, and it's a great program. It's 4 months long, and
that's fantastic.
I really recommend, if you are into commercial creativity, I encourage you to apply for sure.
That's really cool. And what kind of not degrees but courses have you got on that? Is it like, have you got like this, is it mainly design, or?
So it's mainly the program is mainly for people that want to get into the design and advertising industry, but you can come from a background in copywriting, photography, illustration. You can be like a creative director. So we really encourage anyone who has, who's interested in a creative discipline and who wants to get involved into the design and advertising industry to apply. It's a great opportunity.
It's fantastic. It's really, really great. Anything else? Any kind of like tools or books that you might recommend?
At the moment, I'm reading Atomic Habits, which is quite good.
Oh,
like to start the year, with good habits.
Is that the one where you have to like wake up early and all this stuff? Is that the 5 a.m. or am I thinking about another one?
No,
I might be thinking about the 5 a.m. club or the 6 a.m. club or something.
I think it might be another one. But this one talks about, how the environment that you have around you can, basically dictate what kind of habits you have. So, for example, if you have a bowl of fruit in your living room table, you might be more likely to get a banana in the morning. But if you have a bowl full of chocolates, you will be munching on chocolates all day. So it's like little things, and how you can link different habits. So if, you know, once I wake up, I'm gonna read for 5 minutes or something like that, you know, you link your habits, and you also break them down so you understand what are the good habits that you have and the bad habits. So there is a lot of interesting tips and tricks in that book.
Good.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. It's been so lovely to speak to you and hear all about your, you know, amazing career and everything that you're doing to contribute for a better creative industry. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you, Sara.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for having me. I hope this conversation helps someone. Yeah.
Likewise, yeah. If it helps just like one person, I'll be like made up, because that's what we're here for. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you as well to everyone who's watched it. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, please do ask them on socials or email or anything. You know how to reach us. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, and thank you.